Hey everyone, Ben Barrows, aka Random Crown, back for part 7 of the 162 Bounty Builder Hand History Review. If you guys watched the last part, you'll remember this King 8 hand where we 3-bet pre and ended up barreling and runnering a straight. So if you haven't seen this, please go back and watch part 6 and any of the previous parts that you haven't seen so you can be all caught up. Now we have Queen 4 suited here under the gun. Remember, we're at the FT bubble, and we're only 5-handed, so there's probably just 10 or 11 people left. And we have the Queen 4 suited, and we have everyone covered, so we just decide to just stew here. We raise our suited queen because we figure everyone else is going to fold enough, and we'll just, ship the blinds, so it makes it profitable to open. And we get a defend from the BB, we get a Jack 7-8 2-diamond board. We completely miss, we decided to just check back. And they check this offsuit deuce turn, so we decided to just take a stab at it, figuring they don't have a pair, and maybe they don't have a draw. So we could maybe get like king high to fold, maybe ace X. So we definitely just, want to get those hands out of the pot if they ever would fold, so we toss out a bet and they call, and we're just going to be done with the hand pretty much. And then we just river pair fours, we just check behind, and we get there against ace high, ace king high, which surprisingly doesn't 3-bet pre. And then we get king 6 in the BB, facing a 2.5x from under the gun, which is also the hijack. So that's why we tied 2 to defend. We figure we could probably put the player in some tough spots post, but I think it's probably better to fold. I don't know, I think it's really close either way. I think it's fine though, since we have everyone covered. We're in the FT bubble. They'll play more straightforwardly against us post because of it, and we'll have more fold equity as well. So for all those reasons, I think calling is cool. But since it's a 2.5x, I don't mind folding. And we decide to get fancy here again. We call their flop c-bet on this Queen 4-4 rainbow to rep like we have a queen or 4x. And that way, if they check back the turn, we can just bomb the river and expect to get a lot of folds. So we call flop bet, and then they bet huge on the turn, and so we scrap our plan and just fold, because when they bet this huge on the turn, they probably have something decent. Now we have 7-8 in the small blind, and the BB, or excuse me, the button opens, so we just easily muck. 3-5. See if we open this. I think we probably would just fold. Yeah, we don't really want to get in against the BB stack. I mean, it's not that much, but 3-5 off, isn't that great of a hand. Do we open the 5-10 suited though? I think we should, yeah. So we open the 5-10 suited. Don't mind getting it in against the small blind or big blind, since they have less than 10 beeves each. And the button just flats. BB comes along as well. We get a 10-6-6 board, so we flop top pair and decide to c-bet for value. Happy to get it in against the BB. And the button decides to just raise. And we have to think about this and decide that it's going to be better to just fold, because we've seen this guy raise before for value. If you remember from a couple videos ago, we had pocket queens, and we opened, and the button flatted. I don't remember if he was the button in that hand, but the player that's on the button now flatted, and we saw a Jack 9-5 board, and we bet with our queens, and they raise us. We call, and we call a bet on a blank turn, and then the river goes check check, and they show us king jack. So they've already shown that they raise with just top pair. And so even though we have top pair, and it is sort of tempting to call because, oh man, how many tens can they really have here? But like I think that this is the type of player to actually have a value hand when they raise here rather than a bluff. I mean, especially once they've already shown us that they raise for thin value with top pair. So even though there's only 2 more tens left in the deck, I think they will show us ace 10, king 10, queen 10, jack 10 here a lot. So because of that, and the fact that we can't even draw to 2 paired because the board's already paired, like even if we bank our 5, it's meaningless because their kicker is still higher than ours, that it just makes more sense to fold here and save ourselves some chips. Yeah, I don't really see them bluffing here. Even if they are, they could still easily just barrel us off our hand. So yeah, I think that they're just gonna have a better hand here. Like they could have 10x. Maybe he even has like 6-7 suited. Maybe he has like a slow played pocket jacks to the races. But I think he's raising him for value, and if he is raising for value, our hand is like ahead of none of it. So might as well just muck and move on. We get ace queen suited the next hand. Raise under the gun, cut off calls. BB comes along as well. We flop the nut flush draw, and there's king, king 5, 2 clubs board. And we just bet a quarter pot and take it down. Yeah, you really don't have to bet too much on these paired boards because it's unlikely anyone has anything. Now we have queen 10 here in the small blind facing this ship from the hijack or under the gun, depending on how you look at it, for only 6 blinds. It'll be a pretty easy call. We decided to just min ISO to discourage the BB from coming along behind. And this way we can easily get away from our hand if they raise us, because they have to have something good. Since when we min ISO, we have to have something okay as well. And so we get a heads up. Flop top pair. And got there for a second, but then they re-get there on the river. Now we get pocket 10s on the button. Facing a cutoff 2.5x, and then we do something weird here. We meant to 3-bet to a normal size, which would have been like somewhere in like the 34k-ish range. But but we ended up just misclicking. We just min 3-bet. So they actually take this opportunity to 4-bet all in over it, which is great. Because we were gonna 3-bet to like 34k-ish, maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something that would be sort of inducey, hoping to get them to 4-bet it in light, but I guess our misclick min 3-bet, got the job done anyway. Yeah, I mean, no way they were going anywhere with ace king suited, so thankfully we ship a flip. And that's how we burst the FT bubble. So now we are officially at the final table. We're at 8 suited on the button, and we decide to, start off this FT very aggressively. Under the gun +1 min opens, and we just 3-bet with our suited ace, and the chip lead. Yeah, we have like way more chips than everybody else, and there's some short stacks here. So under the gun +1 is going to play way more cautiously against us because they don't want to bust. Like they've got a pretty healthy stack. They've got like well over 30 blinds, and there are some stacks here that are like 12 blinds, 7 blinds, 6 blinds. Like all these guys will likely bust before under the gun +1, so they're gonna ensure that happens by playing on the conservative side. So that greatly incentivizes us to play on the aggressive side because these medium stacks are gonna fold more often, just because of the ICM dynamic at play. And ICM stands for Independent Chip Model. It's in reference to these high money spots where, like, you know, every player that busts, like every pay jump there is, like, affects the decisions you make in game. You know, like, basically you just have to play tighter because of it, you know, if you have like a short or medium stack. But when you have a big stack, you can use ICM to your advantage and play more aggressively because everyone else is going to play that much tighter and will fold to you, so you'll be able to pick up chips easier that way. So that's kind of like the reasoning behind why we 3-bet here. And they call. And we get a 10-10-7 rainbow board. They check. We check behind. And we do this because it looks like a good board to delay c-bet. Say we have like aces or kings. We don't want to make the pot very big here because we don't want to lose to 10x or lose a lot of chips to 10x. So we want to save the amount of chips that we put in the pot, you know, and like can more comfortably value bet the turn and river once they check the turn. Again, like, this is like in their eyes, our perceived range, you know, could do this with a strong hand. So that's why we're doing this with a weak hand, just ace high as well, because it looks stronger when we check back the flop, because they're going to expect our hands like this to bet the flop. So we just check back and we get a queen on the turn, which is a perfect one to delay c-bet, since we're going to have ace queen here and king queen and some other queen x, maybe queen jack suited, that 3-bet pre, and then just check back the flop, you know, just trying to, you know, maybe see a free showdown with ace queen, or yeah, I mean, maybe we just wanted to delay c-bet with our king queen or queen jack, and now we got there. And if they don't have a queen here, or a 10, I think it's pretty hard for them to continue. Like, if they have just like a medium pair, they have like 8s or 6s, like they are not happy with this turn and with just like the action in general. Like, I still have aces and kings and jacks and pocket queens, pocket 10s, pocket 7s. I've got a lot of strong stuff in my range here, so it's very difficult for them to continue with much. So we just bet here, yeah, and probably get better ace highs to fold. Maybe like probably ace jack. Ace jack should fold here. Like, yeah, even though they have, you know, an over and a gut shot, like, you know, even when they bank their king, they're not always gonna be good. Even when they bank their ace, it's not always gonna be good. Yeah, so I think we could get something like ace jack to fold here, and definitely, yeah, some medium pairs. So yeah, we just take it down. We're off to a good start at the FT. I got the king jack. Just min open under the gun +2. And the 4BB stack shows over us. We easily call. And they hold with their better king high. I got pocket kings. We min open. And small blind calls, BB calls. We get a 9-9-6 rainbow board. Just toss out a c-bet. A little less than half pot. And just take it down. Now we have the ace jack and the BB. Under the gun +2. Min opens, cutoff calls, and this is actually a really good spot for us to ship it in, which is what I believe we do. Like, under the gun +2 really should be shoving in the first place. I mean, they have 8 beebs, only 6 behind now, and the cutoff has about 20 blinds total, and they really should just be 3-bet getting it in against the opener. So when they call here, it makes me think they're weaker. Makes me think that they have something like ace 10, like king queen, something that could flop okay, but they don't really want to 3-bet and just get it in against the opener. Yeah, they just want to see a flop. I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense for them to do this. Like, any value hand they have here, they should just be ISOing. They want to get it in against the stack. And with the bounty, it just makes the most sense to 3-bet. But they made a mistake and flatted. So now we have ace-jack, which is probably the best hand against the cutoff. And even if it's the worst hand against undergun +2, we don't mind. Like, there's already so much money in there. And ace-jack is going to have, some equity against whatever they're getting it in with there. I wouldn't be surprised if they show up with a worse hand here sometimes, just trying to, like, get maximum fold equity. Yeah, maybe, like, ace-10, yeah, king-queen. Although I really expect those hands to shove, especially with the small blind stack. Like, they only have 2 blinds behind. So, I mean, this min raise here kind of looks strong, but with only 8 blinds effective, and we have ace-jack, and then there's the cutoffs call in there, plus, the small blind and the antes. I think we can ship it here pretty comfortably. Like, even if we lose to undergun +2, that's only like 50k out of our 480k stack. Like, that's nothing. We're still way ahead of everyone else if we lose. So I think we can just gamble here and see what happens. And expect the cutoff to usually fold. So just get it in, cutoff, undergun +2 calls, cutoff folds, and flop top pair. And yeah, they actually just had king queen here somehow. I'm just trying to get maximum fold equity, it seems, trying to look strong. Although I think it's just better for them to ship it in. Yeah, too bad they busted before the 2BB small blind, but king queen suited is always going to be a shove here with their stack. But thankfully we hold and get a nice bounty to bust the first player at the FT. And with that, we are going to conclude part 7 of the 162 Bounty Builder Hand History Review. And we will finish the review with part 8. Hope to see you guys for that.